Welcome, everyone, to the National Outdoor Learning Initiative Community of Practice for Schools and Districts Moving Learning Outside. This is meeting 50. We've been meeting since June 2020, if you can believe it, as part of the National COVID-19 Outdoor Learning Initiative that was begun around that time in partnership with Green Schoolyards America, the Lawrence Hall of Science, the San Mateo County Office of Education, and 10 Strands. Our meeting today is going to be hosted by myself, Lauren McKenna. I'm a program manager with Green Schoolyards America, and Nancy Striniste, Director of East Coast Programs. Our lovely CEO and founder, Sharon Dinks, is present, but will just be in the audience today.
I want to tell you about in 2021, Green Schoolyards America launched our Outdoor Learning Initiative grant program. And that was thanks to the generosity of an anonymous donor who made this program possible. The grant program was designed to build on the work of the National COVID Outdoor Learning Initiative and the resources of the National Outdoor Learning Library. We have awarded a small number of grants to partner schools to establish their first outdoor learning spaces for use during the pandemic and beyond. This program is by invitation only. Our goals have been to increase access to outdoor infrastructure, especially at high-need schools, to serve the school communities during the pandemic and beyond. And so today we are very excited to feature one of our grantees, Navajo Prep from Farmington, New Mexico. And I'm excited to honored to introduce Denise Jenson, who is the advisor of the Navajo Prep Naat'aanii Youth Council. She's going to tell you about outdoor learning at their school, along with some of her students who she will introduce. So welcome, Denise.
Hi, good afternoon or morning, depending on what coast you're on. Thank you, everybody. Chaah'oh, Denise Jensen, a deshijine. Twa heglini nishlino my deshkishni, bashashin, katnezani deshachado, Chaah'oh additionally. Akwit al munchle. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Denise Jenson, and I am an instructor at Navajo Preparatory School, where I also serve as the advisor for the Navajo Prep Naat'aanii Youth Council. And I thank you for your time today, for making space for my students to be able to share with you the process in which they went through to come up with ideas regarding this outdoor learning project. We are very, very grateful for the opportunity and for the financial support that you have provided to our school. I think and hope that through this presentation from my students that you'll be able to learn a lot about how much this structure will contribute to the overall learning of our students and continual development and support for Navajo language and culture on our campus. And so without further ado, I'm going to allow my students to go ahead and share the information that they have prepared for you. And I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves to you as they come up to make their part of the presentation. All right. So our presentation is Navajo Prep Naat'aanii Youth Council Green Schoolyards Outdoor Learning Grant, and our project is the Chaahash'oh.
How do you say it? I'm sorry. Besh Bachahi, Beshchin, Chaah'oh Dashache, the Galachi Dene Dashanele. Hi, my name is Marissa Mullen. I am a freshman here at Navajo Prep and also part of the Naat'aanii Youth Council. I will be talking about the significance of the traditional Chaahash'oh. Our Chaahash'oh will be placed for social activities that can bring students and staff together. This may include meal preparations, weaving, storytelling, and can be a place for everyone to feel welcome. History behind the Chaahash'oh. Historically, our elders used the Chaahash'oh to do activities that needed to be done around the Hogan. It symbolizes the strength of working together and beauty of being present in everyone's company. Also, it serves as a second home for the household. Each Chaahash'oh constructed symbolizes family, togetherness, and also plays a part in ceremonies as being the patient's second home.
She'e Haley Redhouse Yinisha, Twaglini Nishle, Turjini Bashishchin, Batani A Dashiche, Do Batani A Dashnella. Hi, my name is Haley Redhouse, and I am a freshman at Navajo Prep and a part of the Naat'aanii Youth Council here. So, Navajo philosophy with the Chaahash'oh. First and foremost, within our culture, there are four main things we live by, which is Nsakes, Naat'aanii, Sihasin. And this is our way of doing things. So Nsakes is the thinking part of it. You have an idea, and then Naat'ah is planning. You plan what you're going to do with that idea. Ina is doing it. It's getting together the time, money, energy, all of that. And then Sihasin, which is reflecting. You reflect upon what you could have done better, what you did good, and what you will do next time. So this is what we incorporated into the Chaahash'oh. And so the thinking part of it was that we had to create something where we had to live by certain guidelines, or we had to go by certain guidelines, such as making a positive impact on our school, improving the school, encouraging classroom without walls, which is what our school is about, help shape us into leaders, and support spiritual and mental well-being. So that was the thinking part of it. The planning part of it was seeing what we could do with the idea that we had for the Chaahash'oh, and that was getting more, some other ideas were getting more picnic tables or an outdoor amphitheater, but we decided on the Chaahash'oh. And so we planned out where this Chaahash'oh would go, what materials we would need, will it fit the budget, who would we need to contact, and how long this will take to be completed. And the doing part of it was that the Naat'aanii Youth Council, we filled out a proposal, we talked to Mr. Boleyn and a construction crew to help build the Chaahash'oh. We chose a model for the Chaahash'oh, and we set up a time and date. However, due to workers getting sick and the weather, we had to push that timeline back, but we're still very determined to get it done, and we had to get approval from the school. So that was the doing part of it. And now that we actually got in our proposal, got approval from the school and all of that stuff, we're reflecting upon it now. And we ask how this helped us grow as leaders and progress into what we can do better, and planning out. And the best part of it was that we came to work as a team, and we overcame challenges such as procrastination or delays. And I think that this really helped us improve our school and ourselves by following our Navajo teachings and guidelines.
So what I'm doing is explaining the classroom without walls. What classroom without walls is here at Navajo Prep. We incorporate learning experience outside the classroom walls, which some examples are the Chaahash'oh Culture Week. On campus, there's activities such as butchering, traditional food making, and traditional arts and craft. Off campus, there's an option to go off campus. The activities are camping, fishing, swimming, and community service cleanup around the campgrounds where they stayed. Another outdoor learning is Mountain Day, which is usually connected with nature and culture. This is usually the first day of fall. Snow Day would be snowboarding, skiing, tubing, and snow bath. Then some on-campus activities. What we have is Navajo culture, which we have presenters where we do arts and craft and learn about our language. Culture nights on Wednesdays are singing, dancing, and prayers and gathering. On Wednesdays, we have a Wellness Wednesday, which helps with emotional being of a person and a way to de-stress, which is socializing, self-care, and a place to study and relax.
Tantakiwao, Watson Woodford and Sigasun, Asni Watiti Kutinia, the good wasap Natatapunan. Yat she Watson Woodford in Nisha, Tapahanishle, Chupakri Bashes Chin, but Atni Dashache, Chupakri Dashanella. Hello, everybody. My name is Watson Woodford. I come from the Chippewa Cree and Navajo nations, and I am a part of the Naat'aanii Youth Council. And the part I will be presenting about is the benefits of the Chaahash'oh. The overall benefits of having a Chaahash'oh, the better understanding of learning in an outside environment, better connection with the outdoors and having that connection with our Mother Earth, because in our traditions we believe in our Mother Earth and being outside. We can have outdoor presentations, used to host outdoor events, such as our different events that we have during Hajonashal week, maybe sheep butchering or some kind of presentations we could have under the Chaahash'oh with the protection from sunlight or outdoor weather. Create closer connections and respect for our Mother Earth by being outside. A general place for gatherings, and it encourages gatherings for people, because this is a place where for so long we've gathered under and did dinners and ceremonies, everything like that, and under the Chaahash'oh. Most of us have one at home, or our grandparents have one at home. And so we're very familiar with what that is, and it brings a sense of home too. The benefits for the students, it creates a more social interaction for students. Like I said, more gathering, or maybe somebody will see a student under the Chaahash'oh and might want to see them and see how they're doing, or, it creates that social interaction. It encourages or creates an interest in Diné culture, or can lead to interest in their own culture. The Chaahash'oh is a part of our culture and who we are as Diné people. And so being able to have that on campus, it'll create an interest in the students to learn about why it's there, why we have it, what it means to have it, what are you supposed to do under it, what do you build it out of, all of that, and the traditional teachings behind that. But then that could lead to different teachings they might want to learn about their tribe and who they are, where they come from, and where they stand in this world and what they're destined to do. And it could create a calm environment for students to study. We have different study places here on campus, but I think this would be nice to have one outside, outdoors, and where it's not so crowded indoors. And then that also helps with COVID too. And this time that we're in, it'll help us, be outside and be able to social distance. And then a place where students can feel at home. Like I said, our Chaahash'oh, it brings us home when we're able to see one, to interact with one, to be under one, And so I think it would be nice to have one here, and it would make a lot of students feel at home because they saw one at their grandparents or at their house. So they'll be able to feel at home with this one at the school. So thank you.
Project dimensions. Dimensions, the Chaahash'oh will be 1646 feet. Opening face towards the Hogan. There'll be a concrete walkway. Additions, when the Chaahash'oh is completed and done, we'll be adding an outdoor grill, an outdoor sink, lights and electrical outlets, and also with the additional funds that you guys provided us, thank you very much, we'll be adding the picnic tables as well. Oh, and right now, this is a picture of what the Chaahash'oh looks like right now. They just started making the foundation of it and kind of just getting the dimensions out. And they haven't really started the construction yet, but sooner or later they will. But yeah, this is what it looks like right now.
Okay, and that concludes the student presentation part of this. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Denise, and all of those incredible students. It's such an honor to us at Green Schoolyards to be able to work with you and to help you to create the Chaahash'oh. And we are just really delighted to hear the update and to hear from all the students. So if anyone in the audience has any questions, let's see. I see one from Lauren. I love the idea about home. Are there ways this structure connects to local plants that are important to Navajo culture?
Okay. Actually, that is a part of the entire construction in and around the Hogan. We just have a new Hogan built. They're putting the finishing touches on it as we speak. And so it's a brand new construction area. They've cleared everything. There were plants around the old Hogan that students would use, and they would, you know, use those plants to learn from. There are plans to replant some of the herbs and some of the medicinal plants that we use as a part of our traditional food making, but also as a part of our ceremonies. And so they do have, as part of the plan, to replant some of those plants once the construction of the Hogan and the Chaahash'oh is complete.
And someone asks, what materials will you be using, traditional or modern, for constructing the Chaahash'oh?
In the beginning, we did talk about constructing a traditional Chaahash'oh, but what it came down to was longevity of the sustainability and keeping the Chaahash'oh up. You know, even back at home, we have to replace the logs and we have to replace the branches of trees that goes on to provide the shade. And so it was decided that the best option that would be the most sustainable option would be to build a structure that looks like this in the picture. With that construction, with metal construction. The construction company that's building the Hogan is also going to be constructing this Chaahash'oh. So they're going to mirror the construction, the color, the materials that were used to build the Hogan. That's what they're going to use to build the Chaahash'oh as well.
Do you want to talk about, I believe in one of our conversations, we talked about some environmental justice issues in your area with acid rain and the coal plant?
Yeah. One of the reasons, see, our brand new Hogan is actually constructed out of, we have a metal roof on it. We do have logs, but they're treated logs. Our old Hogan, which was in a much more traditional construction, we ended up having to we had to replace logs on the south end of that Hogan 2 different times, because in our area we have 2 power plants that are very near within one another. And so what we were told was it created, you know, the environmental effects in the air created and led to acid rain, and that the acid rain coming down on the south end of that Hogan began to eat at the logs. And so it began to lead to structural issues because the logs started to deteriorate, and they tried to replace them twice, but it still led to like damage in the roof and everything. And it became unstable because the Hogan that was there previously, it was completely made out of logs, including the roof. So the roof was really heavy on that. And when those, the south end of the wall started to get affected like that, it became unsafe. So for that reason, they decided to use other materials to build this new Hogan.
Okay. I see another question here from Joanna, directly directed to the students, if they're still available.
Yeah, they're here.
Okay. She wants to know, were there any greater lessons? What are the greater lessons that students have gained from being part of this project? Oh, hi, everybody. It's great to see you all.
What do you guys think? How would you answer? What's the greatest lesson that you learned in this?
Let's go first. Yeah. So one of the greatest lessons I learned was to work as a team. Like, you have to do your role and your part. Miss Jensen is an amazing teacher, and she had us get in groups, and she would designate, you guys do this, and within that group we had to designate each other. Okay, we have to write this down, we have to organize this, and then basically our entire prompt is student based. And I think that was wonderful, because usually you give your work to an adult and they like modify it and make their own changes, which is good, but it's not our ideas. And Miss Jensen allows us to do that. We put in our ideas, and we have to put in the hard work if we want this to be a good job.
Right. Thank you. Wow, we're very proud of you guys and the work that you did to make this happen. I have another question to the students. Sharon Danks is wondering about what you're most looking forward to doing outside in the new Chaahash'oh.
I would like to answer that. What I'm mostly excited for is the environment. Like, I like being outside, but there's no shade here on campus. Like, the only shade is by the creek, but it gets windy and the leaves start falling on you. But then I'm also excited for our culture nights in the fall, because I like learning about Navajo culture and how Navajo culture, and I'm ready for the stories to hear about the Chaahash'oh, like why and the reason why it's constructed like the way it is. And that's what I'm mostly looking forward to.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anybody?
Yeah, anyone else want to answer that same question?
Really quickly, one of the things I'm looking forward to is, I practice, I'm a powwow dancer. So I think, I'd like to do some presentations under the Chaahash'oh, or sometime in the evening. I think it would be nice to do some of those presentations and teach about that kind of dance to the students here at Navajo Preparatory School, and, kind of share about my culture and what I do. And so I'm excited for that, but also to see the other presentations from other students, other student-led presentations about who they are and their culture. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you all for sharing your culture with us. I think I certainly learned a lot from your presentation. Oh, did someone else want to talk?
No, they just bumped into the smart board, so the presentation is moving.
Okay. And someone mentioned in the chat, and I want to second that, gratitude for sharing your language with us in the presentation. This has been really beautiful, and we are at Green Schoolyards are so honored to be working with you, and we are very excited to see the structure when it finally gets done. I know that you've had a lot of obstacles to overcome in this process, and we're just really happy that you're able to be here and tell us about how it's gone up to this point. So thank you. Thank you all. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, thank you. And again, thank you all for your time and for making that space for us today, and for the students to share with you their work. And, really was their work. Everything that was in that presentation, that's from them. And so that I know that it's something that's very special, and it's something that's really exciting that we're really looking forward to just having it up and being able to use it.
They know a lot. Wise young people. Thank you.
Yes.